Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
How to use AIRO, even though you don't have a great experience with products and how to use the tools, but you will be able to use that tool. And the second thing is, because there are 10 strategies. So we are not going to explain all the strategies in this call, but we're going to discuss about strategy number 1 and strategy number 3, right? So I have all the notes already, all the strategies. And I was going through because even in weekends, but I'm going through all the notes, all the documents in my hand, because this is money. So this is basically the work. This is basically the main thing that we have to go through and understand the things that how to use the tools. And we need to become a master of the master. Again, because you guys have opportunity to ask questions. And Mr. William is over here to give you answer, because we are not going to give answer because we are also student like you guys. Okay, without any further ado, so please let me pass this call to one of the great mentor and director in forest education in Auvoria Prime, one and only my mentor as well, leader and also inventor of the product, Mr. Nathan William. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the people about the AIRO product. So again, my name is Nathan Williams. I'm the Director of Forex Education with Auvoria Prime, and also the developer of the AIRO software. It's a pleasure for me to be speaking to you guys today about AIRO. It's a product that I designed to be very simple for beginning traders, but then also to be intricate enough so that if you are an intermediate or an advanced trader, it can bring value, to your trading as well. It is a manual trading product, which means that you have to be in front of the screen to take the trades. It's not an expert advisor like the products you guys have been utilizing, but that's the great thing. The great thing about manually trading products is that it allows you to truly understand how the market moves, truly understand and have control over it. And then once you really understand the strategies, you can be a little bit more aggressive and start to see some great growth. We have some students that are growing their accounts, 30% a day, a week, a month, 50%, 100%, 500%, 700%, 1,000, because they truly are starting to understand the strategies, and it gives them the leverage to be able to really grow their accounts at an extremely high rate. And then they can then turn around and take those profits and put those profits into an expert advisor, for the long haul trading. It's a little bit more on the hands-off approach. And so I will go ahead and bring up the software to show you guys. This is the AIRO software here. All right. People refer to AIRO as a digital coloring book. And as you can see by the colors, you can kind of understand. So really simple on the software here. You'll see that there are these green zones here, and you have these red zones. All right, green zones and red zones, they signify support and resistance. So the green zones are support, so they're like the floor. All right, red zones are resistance, they're like the ceiling. So if I take a ball and I drop it on the floor, it bounces off the floor and heads in the opposite direction. If I take that same ball and I throw it at the ceiling, it hits the ceiling and bounces off the ceiling and comes back down. That is all price does on a daily basis. You see it hits the floor, bounces off the floor, heads up. There once was a ceiling here. It hit the ceiling, it bounces off. It broke through the ceiling up here, therefore the ceiling disappears and continues to rise. Bounced off the floor here, hit the ceiling here, come back down. All day long, that's all price does, is bounces off the floor and the ceiling. All right. When price is above the moving average here, this blue line, color of the candles are green. Everyone is probably used to seeing a chart that looks like this when they have their software on it. But when you throw on the AIRO software, it looks like this. All right. So when the candlesticks are above the blue line, they're green, signifying that you're in an uptrend. When they're below, they're red, signifying that you're in a downtrend. All right. The gray shaded area here, this happens every day. So you can see here, the gray shaded area happens every day. It's a 12-hour time frame. This is what's known as the money zone. As you guys know, $7 trillion a day is what flows through the foreign exchange market every 24 hours. Over 80% of that 7 trillion is traded during this 12-hour time frame. That's why it's called the money zone, because almost over 5 trillion of the money is traded during this 12-hour block of time. So this is the time frame of the day that is the best time of the day to actually trade. All right? The most volatility, as you can see here, outside of the money zone, price doesn't move too much. Inside, bigger moves. Outside, doesn't move too much. Inside, bigger moves. That's because of the volatility of the market. All right. Next is the blue line, the moving average. All the moving average does is it allows you to truly understand what the trend is. It just gives you another visual of what the trend of the market is, because we want to trade based on two things. We want to trade based on the trend. So we always want to trade in direction of the trend. And then number two, we want to trade when the money is trading. So if you're trading in the direction of the trend while the money is being traded, the big money, the banks, the hedge funds, you have the highest probability chance to win. So the blue line gives you an idea of where price is headed. And as you can see, when price is above it, it's green. So we're in an uptrend, and the blue line is headed up. The last but not least, you have the pip counter here. This is a cool feature. So every time you place a trade, it will count your pips for you to let you know if you're up or if you're down on your trades. A pip is just stands for price interest point. All a pip does is it signifies price movement for whatever currency pair or asset class that you are trading. All right. And then you have the arrows. These arrows give you opportunities to get in. You don't take every arrow, but they give you an opportunity of when you can get into a trade. That is the AIRO software. It is a visual aided software that gives you a representation of what the market is doing, allowing you the best opportunity to enter into a trade and become profitable. We have a lot of beginners that are having success with the software. We even have 10-year-olds, as young as 10-year-olds that are trading the software, and they're using this strategy I'm getting ready to show you as the strategy that allows them to be profitable. Like literally we have, actually our youngest I've ever heard of utilizing software. His father that has a 7-year-old. His 7-year-old son is using the software, and he's catching 50 pips a week using the software. So at 7 years old, it just tells you how simple the rules are and how easy it is to trade with the software. All right, you got to put in the time, but the rules are very simple, so you can catch on very quickly. So without further ado, we'll go over strategy number 1, and we'll go over strategy number 3. There are 10 strategies. These 2 were selected because these 2 are very profitable. These 2 also are very easy to execute. All right. So number 1 is the base and the foundation of the software is what we call Bounce Arrow Go. All right. Bounce.
Okay.
Arrow Go.
Okay. So Mr. Nathan, here is sorry to interrupt you. I have to stop you. If is there a possibility if we could just put AIRO, because most of the people on this call, they never use AIRO, and they have even no idea how to basically drag the AIRO indicator in particular chart. and because when they will have activated tool ready, AIRO, so how they can drag that file particular, the pair. And also because on Saturday and Sunday, we do have possibility to have live trading on BTC. So if we will have possibility to check it out on any of the pair that which is working today, I think BTC USD working.
Sure, yeah, we can pull that up. Let's see here. Let me pull up this one here. All right. So this is the Auvoria Prime
VPS.
VPS here. All right. So when you're logging in, you're going to have blank screen or you'll have your charts up. You simply, we pull a chart up here. We have the chart here. To do so, to add the AIRO software to the chart, you simply you come to the icon here that has underneath the word charts, has a gold folder with a gold star. It's called the navigator. You simply select on that, it will open up your navigator here. So underneath the navigator, you want to hit the plus sign next to the indicator. And you have AIRO version 4.1. All right, AIRO version 4.1. You simply double click on AIRO version 4.1. It's going to bring up the settings menu like you would have with the expert advisors. You come to common, you're going to make sure you have the first two checked. And then under inputs, you come here. You're going to make sure desktop alerts are true and push notifications to your phone are true. Because every time an AIRO pops up, you can actually get the notification to your phone if you have the MetaTrader 4 application downloaded onto your actual phone. And I'll walk through that process so that you understand what that looks like as well. Next is the money zone. Now, the money zone, depending on your broker, will shift because brokers utilize, have a different server time. So their servers are in different time zones. So what you want to do is you want to convert 12 a.m. Central Standard Time to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. You want to convert that to your broker's server time. So the broker that I use, 12 a.m. Central Standard Time to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, is 0800 to 2000. My broker is GMT plus 3. I use a broker that their time zone is GMT plus 3. So that's 0800 to 2000. I'm sorry, GMT plus 3 right now. They because of the time zone, they've shifted. All right, so I type that in here. And the reason you type it in this way is because it's in military time. Because MetaTrader 4, this application that we use to make the trades, it is in military time. So you have to put in your time in military time. All right. Once you do that, you just simply select OK. And as you can see here, there is the software. Just like that. As you can see here, I am in a trade. Cool thing about this is it'll let you know. So again, GBP CHF. I'm on the GBP USD chart. Doesn't matter what chart you're on. So the cool thing is you can look at other charts and still understand what's going on your other chart, the one that you actually have an active trade on. All right, that's the cool thing right there. Also, you can see GBP CHF is green. That means that I'm in a buy, but I'm negative 14, which means I'm 14 pips in the negative right now. And if GBP CHF, if the letters were red, that would mean I'm in a sale. So you can really understand what's going on here with the pip counter. All right. I teach on the 15-minute time frame. So the best time to trade is on the 15-minute time frame. All right. Let me pull up BTC USD real quick. And we're pulling up BTC USD because BTC USD is active right now on the weekend. As you can see, it's moving there. All right. So strategy number one. First thing you want to do is you want to zoom out. So up here at the top, you have two magnifying glasses right here. Maybe right underneath your broker's name. One says zoom out, zoom in. One says zoom out. So the one that with the minus sign is zoom out. You want to push that until it goes gray, so you can't zoom out anymore. And you do that so that you can see all your zones. You want to count your zones. As you can see, I have more green zones than I do red zones. If I have more green zones than red zones, that means what? That means I am in an uptrend. So I am only looking to take buy trades, only buys only, nothing else, buys only. So I zoom in, all right? And I am looking for price to bounce off of the support level, come off, give a up arrow so I can take the trade. As you can see here, price came down, it bounced off support, came up above support. You got an arrow pointing to this candle that's above support. You entered the trade. Next candle. This arrow only pops up when this candle is done forming. So when this candle is done forming, I put my entry, my buy entry right here. You see a little pullback, and then you see it tick off. All right. Price bounced off support here, went above the moving average. You had up arrows here. You get into the trade, and you see price went up. All right. The rule is, and again, BTC is a little different. So we'll go back to GBP USD. The rule is when you're in a trade, and again, with BTC, it is a lot different because Bitcoin is not a foreign exchange currency, it's a cryptocurrency. So it has one of the rules we do not utilize when it comes to trading Bitcoin. And so I'll talk about the Forex pairs from the rule standpoint. So rule number one, identify the trend by zooming all the way out. You see here on GBP USD, 4 green, 2 red. We're looking for buys, only buys. Rule 2, only take trades inside the money zone, so inside the gray area, all right? Let me throw arrow on here for you guys. This way, that way, there we go. It cleans it up, all right? That's rule 2. Rule 3, only take buy trades inside the money zone in the direction of the trend using the bag entry method, which is the bounce, arrow, and then you go. That's it. So price came down, it bounced off support, came up, you had an up arrow right here, you get in the trade, you take the trade. If there is a zone of the opposite color, so this zone wasn't here, it's green, which means it's support. So this zone is here because of price right here, coming down and sitting right here. That's why the green zone is here. This zone wasn't here, all right? So if your entry, so for example, if we entered the trade right here on this blue line where we're supposed to, as long as you have 20 pips room until the red zone, the opposite color zone that it bounced off of, you can take the trade. You don't want to take the trade into the red zone or the ceiling, as we talked about, the resistance zone, because what is it? It's a resistance zone. If the ball hits the ceiling, it's going to bounce off and head the wrong way. We want price to go up. So you want to make sure you have 20 pips or more room to the ceiling to take the trade. This zone wasn't here on this day, which was Thursday. This was a bank holiday on Friday, so most people didn't trade. This was the day before, so this zone wasn't here. Therefore, we can take that trade. You can see it went all the way to the ceiling. It went in the ceiling, but then it came out. So you want to take the trade for 20 pips is the take profit, and then 40 pips is your stop loss. So when you simply you set your take profit at 20 pips, you set your stop loss down at 40 pips. Yeah, and that's it. That is strategy number one. It's a very simple strategy, very accurate strategy. We went a lot with the strategy. There are some individuals that only use this strategy. There's some, but my rule of thumb is you want to master this strategy and at least one more, because you never know what type of condition the market. Some days and some weeks, you'll get this bounce arrow go setup every day, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. then there's sometimes you won't. So you want to master at least 2 strategies so that you have the best chance to be successful, depending on, and collecting your goals. And then as you have mastered those 2 strategies, you can add more at a later date. So I'll pass it back to you before I go on to strategy 3.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nathan. Wow, awesome. To be honest, because it's so easy because as you just mentioned that the AIRO, if anyone is going to understand, even 7-9 years old guy can do that, the forex trading, and not only can do that, they can make money. The only thing is, as you said, they just need to be very attentive on that. Because following the rules again. Yes, I remember because day before yesterday we had a session, private session, and you mentioned because one of the guy, I think in 8 weeks, he made by using AIRO software is significant amount. Not only that, because basically, he use AIRO, right? So he's an expert trader, or he's just using the tool, or what is the scenario?
So this gentleman has a significant amount of money due to the type of career and the company that he runs. But he didn't start trading until January of this year, is when he first heard about the AIRO software. He joined. He used the software for 2 weeks just to kind of understand the rules, play around with. He was on his demo account trading and practicing. And then within 6 weeks after he he was practicing for 2 weeks. He put a 6-figure sum into his account, and he doubled that amount within 6 weeks. And he's brand new to trading, so he felt comfortable enough to put a significant amount of money into the account, and he was able to successfully grow that account, and double it in 6 weeks. I've verified this. He has what's called a MyFX book, which everyone should be used to. That terminology, because it's definitely used a lot with expert advisors. And he placed his account on a MyFX book. I verified it, and he within 6 weeks he was able to get a 6-figure gain in his account. So he's very happy, very excited, and having a lot of fun.
Wow, great. Because there are 2 more questions came in my WhatsApp. One of the guys just asked that which prayer you recommend for the AIRO purpose, especially for the person who just going to start in this week from Monday. What I think you already mentioned on the documents, which is GBP 6 pairs and the 4 pairs of euro for the I think London session. So please elaborate that, which pair you are recommending on that.
Sure. So I recommend 10 pairs. If we look at them here, let me just pull them all up here. Let me close Bitcoin here. So I recommend we have this chart here is the Great Britain Pound US dollar, so GBP USD. I also recommend the Great Britain Pound Japanese Yen. I also recommend the Great Britain Pound CHF, so the Great Britain Pound Swiss franc. I also recommend the Great Britain Pound New Zealand dollar, so GBP NZD. The Great Britain Pound Canadian dollar, GBP CAD. And the Great Britain Pound Australian dollar, GBP AUD. So these 6 on the bottom of the screen here, these tabs here, I can switch back and forth between them when I open up more than one pair. These are the 6 Great Britain Pound pairs that I recommend. All right. Next are Euro pairs. So I recommend the Euro GBP, which is the Euro Great Britain Pound. The Euro Australian dollar, EUR AUD. The Euro Japanese Yen, EUR JPY. And then last but not least, the Euro NZD, which is the Euro New Zealand dollar. These are the 10 that I recommend. The reason I recommend these 10 are due to the fact they have what's called a high ADR. So ADR stands for average daily range. So it's the average number of pips that a foreign exchange currency pair moves each day. The more they move, the higher probability chance you have to catch your 20 pips. The goal is about high probability. We don't want 50-50 chance. We want a high probability. I can tell you, these aren't my results, but the beta test group, when they were beta testing the software before we launched it to the company, just with strategy number 1 that I went over for you guys, they were able to win 85% or more of their trades with strategy number 1. All right, 85% or more. And again, not my results. They were the beta test group. There was 43. And the beta test group was a combination of experienced traders, intermediate traders, and beginning traders. And everyone had similar success just by following the basic rules. So those are the 10 pairs I recommend because they're going to give you a high probability chance of catching the 20 pips. And again, it works on everything. So as you get familiar with and consistent at winning on these 10 pairs, feel free to branch out and utilize anything else. There are indices you can trade on. There are, precious metals like gold, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, your energies like oil, other Forex pairs. All right, you can use them all. However, these are going to give you, they have the highest ADR and you'll be able to catch your 20 pips or more because as you get more comfortable, you'll know when to start letting your trades go a little further as you get more experience. But start off as, with the basic rules. And then as you get good at that, then you continue to, change the way that you trade.
Yeah, thank you very much. Awesome. What do you recommend the lot size? Of course, according to the balance. But let's suppose if someone got 1,000 pound or dollar or euro worth of account, what do you recommend the lot size and how many trades in one day that they need to have? Because of course it's going to go on take profit, it's going to go on stop loss, but how many maximum trades that you will recommend?
Sure. So I recommend using a 0.01 lot size, which everyone should be familiar with that from a standpoint of most expert advisors are utilizing 0.01. But you want to use a 0.01 for every $100 you have in your account. So a $1,000 account, that's 0.01 times 10. So you'd be utilizing we'll write that down here.
0.10
for every $100. All right. $0.1 for every $1,000. And last but not least, for those who have the big bucks, 1.00 for every $10,000. Now, as you get more experienced, if you want to utilize a more aggressive lot size, you can. I recommend these lot sizes for every 100, 1,000, or 10,000 from the standpoint of risk management. You want to manage your risk because you're not going to get every trade right. Even the software, again, is not 100% accurate. There is no strategy. I can tell you, JP Morgan Chase, they lost trades last year. Didn't lose very many, because the banks have unlimited funds, so they can hold trades for a long time and let it come back because they have that kind of money. However, even the banks lose trades. Hedge funds lose trades. You want to manage your risk so that when you do lose trades, those losing trades do not wipe away all of your profits. All right. So you want to manage your risk. With this strategy here, you would have to lose 1,000 pips in a row for you to lose all of your money. So that's a huge margin of error, which gives you the opportunity to, if you are losing, by the time you've lost, 100, a couple hundred, you start to figure out, what am I doing wrong? Go back, look over the rules, and then start making corrections. All right. Whereas if you're using a 1.00 for every $100, it takes one trade and you lose everything. So it's all about managing your risk so that if you do lose, or say when you do lose, you don't lose more than you've gained. Therefore, you're going to be in the game for a long time. And then as you get better and better, you'll see that you do not lose as often. But when you do lose, again, it doesn't wipe away your profits.
Yeah. And also, because can you mention something, because before someone is going to trade on the real account, because don't you think that if anyone wants to be an expert, so they need to use AIRO and become master and expert about the AIRO, so they need to use on demo first, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, in order to have a first live trade. What do you think about?
So a couple of groups that are using the same strategy, and their strategy is take 100 demo trades before you go live. So 100 demo account trades. So if that takes you, if you're taking 5 a day, that's 20 a week. 25 a week for 5 days, and then that's 100 in a month, which means you're 4 weeks. Now, if you take more, great. That way you can cut the time down. But the goal is take 100 demo trades. Is what a lot of groups are doing. And after 100 demo trades, then you go live. Because by the time you got to 100, you got into the repetition of seeing how the market reacts. You understand and correct your mistakes, and you're not costing yourself real money for those costly mistakes you make.
But to be honest, because what is my experience is entirely up to the people, because most of the time people don't have patience and they wanna go live trade on first day, and that's what is I know it's not recommending by the company, by us, by you, and by people are people, because they wanna make money straight away. But that's what is basically my belief is, in order to be a master, basically we need to have a practice first and then go for live on real account. Yes, it's a great idea. So now, what do you think? Because that's I know, because it's very direct question. But what do you think? Because end of the day, you are using and you are basically teaching AIRO system itself is basically teach so many people around the world. What do you think? What is the ratio? What is the percentage in winning side, in losing side so far? If all people are going to use 4 rules, what you just already teach to everyone, what is the ratio to win the trades?
So right now, for those who are utilizing the strategy and following all the rules, those who are winning 80% of the time. They're typically winning 80%. Again, there are no guarantees, but this is just what the people are showing and what I'm seeing. They're winning over 80% of the time. I can tell you right now, on my live sessions, when we trade live and I show people how to use this strategy, in the last 4 months, we've only lost 2 trades with this strategy. And the next strategy I'm going to show you, we've only lost 1 trade. And the next strategy, we take the majority of our trades on. So, I have a 90 or more than 95% win ratio. Again, I'm a little more experienced, but again, most people that trade it, they win it over 80% of the time as well with the next strategy as well. So if you're winning over 80% of your trades, that means you are following the rules the way they're meant to be, because that's what the going ratio is for most that are trading the 2 strategies that I'm going to show you is 80%. And as you get better, you'll understand when not to take certain trades, even though everything lines up, and therefore, which will allow for your winning percentage to increase more than 80%.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool, because someone just mentioned that because from where we can learn. So Mr. Nathan, he has 3 time, if I'm not wrong, 3 time in a week live session for you guys. You guys can attend his live session and you guys can have the enjoy. So is the session is basically 2-hour session, Mr. Nathan?
So we have a total of 11 live trade sessions throughout the week. 6 of them are 3 hours long, and then 5 of them are an hour and a half long. So I'll send you the list for the entire week, so that you can actually get on those calls. 3 of the calls are with me during London session. So that's going to be 3 more calls are with other educators, and they're going to be trading the New York session. That's for
Wow.
3 days. And then 5 days a week, you have what's called pre-New York. So it's in between London, in between New York, with a group. And their strategy is they only look at how to trade wedges. So they're a little bit more advanced. So their calls are an hour and a half long, but they're on Monday through Friday. And they are a little bit more advanced. So they trade certain patterns in the market. They trade what's called a wedge pattern, because the wedge pattern is the most profitable pattern to trade in the market. So as you become more experienced, I'd recommend getting on that call to learn more, because they are very advanced traders. So it's not a recommended call in the very beginning as you're starting to learn how to trade for yourself and utilize the software. So you want to get on the London session call or the New York call. And then as you get more experience with the strategies, you'll see that strategy number 7 has the wedges. And that's the call, that's the strategy and the call you want to be a part of as you become more experienced.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
That's
really cool. Before we are going to go in to learn strategy number 3, because there is one more question. What do you recommend, Mr. Nathan? How many hours? Because obviously everyone is not willing to be in front of screen for a whole day. What do you recommend? How many hours they need to do the trading? Because AIRO is sending alerts 24-hour anyway. But which hour that you recommend to just have maybe 2 hours a day, maybe 3 hours a day, and then after the rest of the day, whatever anyone wants to do, they can do that. So what is your recommendation on that?
So there's really no set time that I recommend. What I recommend is set a goal. So I have a goal, of catching when I trade 100 pips a day. So I catch my 100 pips and then I'm done. That's it. So once you're done, that could be 1 trade, that could be 10 trades. It really depends on how you trade, and and of course, the better you get, the faster you'll be able to catch those trades and get off. The cool thing about the software is, again, it sends notifications to your phone for the arrows. So if you love strategy number 1, you can not be on the chart as much at all and just wait for the notifications. When you get it, check your chart to see if it applies to the rules. If it does, take the trade. If it doesn't, close the screen, go back to doing what you're doing. That way you don't have to be staring at the computer if you don't want to. This next strategy is not based off of the arrows. So you do have to actually look at the chart. The first strategy we went over does. Really quickly, I will show you how to get notifications.
Yeah, please.
So let me pull up. So if you have and everyone should have it, the MetaTrader 4 application on your phone, you want to go, I've got an iPhone here. And so with both iPhone and Android phones, the exact same. You want to go to settings, and then you want to go to chat and messages. So settings, and then chat and messages. All right. It'll bring you to this blank screen here. At the bottom, it'll give you your Meta Quotes ID number. So you keep that in mind, right? On your chart here, so in your VPS, you want to go to Tools, Options. All right. You get the Options menu. You come to Notifications. Under Notifications, you want to go to Enable Push Notifications. So you select that Enable Push Notifications. And under Meta Quotes ID, you type in the ID number you have here on your phone. Mine's different than yours. So you type in the code there. I'll type mine in to show you exactly how it works. Once you type it in there, you hit test, and you'll see what happens. I got my notification.
Yeah.
It pops up. After that, now that the test works, you're like, okay, great. Now the test works. So now going forward, you select OK. So every time you get an arrow, it will notify you. Again, not every arrow is going to be in the right arrow to take. So that's why you look at the chart to see if it qualifies the rules. If it does, take the trade. If it doesn't, don't take the trade. But it allows you to have some freedom. After you've added it on your phone to your Meta Quotes ID, you want to make sure you go to settings on your phone and make sure that the MetaTrader 4 app, you have the notifications on, because you can receive notifications. But if the MetaTrader 4 app is not turned on for notifications, if your app is closed, it won't notify you on your phone and you'll miss the trades. But that is how simple it is to set up the notifications. And then now all you have to wait for is the notification to your phone. Go look at the trade to verify it. If it's good, take it. If it's not, don't take it.
Awesome. That's really cool. Before we are going to go on strategy number 3, I think so far everything is clear. So anyone got any questions? So you guys can text me, text Figbai. Figbai, do you have any questions so far till now? So we will move on to the strategy number 3.
I'm enjoying this call.
Sorry, say again?
I said, so far it's really good. So I'm really enjoying this call.
Well done. Well
Can't
done.
stop listening to Nathan.
Yeah, that's really cool. So Mr. Nathan, I think please start explaining strategy number 3. So while that having all the information, let's see we got any questions. Over to you, sir.
Great. So this next strategy is what I call the Asia session breakout. Asia session breakout. Again, on my live calls, we've only lost this trade one time, and we take more of this type of trade on the call than we do any other strategy. So it's a very high probability winning strategy. This strategy is only for these 6 Great Britain pound pairs. It's only for these 6. All right. Will it work on other pairs? Sure. But it's not as consistent. This strategy is built or was created for the Great Britain pound pairs because they had a trade. All right. So when you add the AIRO template here, so here under the templates folder right here, when you add AIRO, and again, you have this drop down. I've had that added for everyone. You'll get the same setup as me. So you have these dotted lines right here. This is the new day. So every day at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time is when price gets to this line. This is the start of a new Forex day. So from this line to the start of the money zone is 8 hours. So you want to mark that. All right, you want to mark that. Let me change that color so you can see it a little better. There we go. You want to mark this here. This is what's considered the Asia session right here. This zone, the money zone, is a combination of London session and New York session. But before London session in New York, you have the Asia session. That's this 8-hour time frame right here. Low volatility, all right? Once you've marked it off, next you want to go ahead and you want to mark the high and the low. Now, I'm marking this off right when prices started to get to the money zone. So the very first candle of the money zone, I'm starting to mark this up to see if the trade qualifies. So I have my vertical lines here that shows me the time frame I'm looking at. Next, I want to look at my Asia channel. So I want to hit the horizontal line and I want to mark the top. Let me change this color as well. Make it a little bit easier to see. Go with pink there. All right. You see, I'm marking it at the top of the bodies of the candle. These are candlesticks here. All right, let me zoom in. I don't care about the wicks. The thin part of the candle is the wick. The thick part is the body. So you see, this is the highest body right here. This is the highest closed price for GBP CAD for this day during this time frame. And then I want to mark the lowest closed price, which is the lowest body right there. Now I can clearly see what? The Asia channel. This is my Asia channel right here, right? I want to measure my Asia channel. So I want to use the crosshair here. Click on that. I want to click from top to bottom. You can see there are 3 numbers. The first number says 5. So if you're going from, just to show you how to use the crosshair, if you're going from this candle to this next candle, you see it says 1. That just means I've gone from where I started to where I'm at is 1 candle. If I go way over here, it tells me what? It says 36. That means that's 36 candles. That's in between where I started and where I'm at. The number in the middle tells you what? That number tells you the number of pips. or really the number of points. So from top to bottom, it tells me 195 points, which is 19.5 pips. So you just move the decimal to the left one place. So that's 195 points, which is 19.5 pips. If the Asia channel is less than 500 points or 50 pips, that means it's a valid trade to take potentially for the day. All right. So now that we know that, what do we do next? Well, we go back and we get, all right, it's less than 50 points or 500 points or 50 pips. Now we know that the trade potentially qualifies. So we go back to follow the rules. Zoom out all the way, count your zones. I have more green zones than red zones, so I'm looking for a buy because we always trade with the trend. Number two, always trade inside the money zone. So what you're waiting for, now that we know we're looking for a buy, we're waiting for the very first candle to close above the Asia channel. This is the top of the Asia channel. This is the bottom. As you can see here, this right here closed above that candle or this channel. So we enter the trade here. As long as there is no red zone above you for 20 pips, take the trade. As you can see here, we got our 20 pips. Is what the goal is when as high as 25 pips. So you got your 20 pips. That's all you're looking for. 20 pip take profit, 40 pip stop loss. That is it.
Wow.
That's strategy there. And it's
That's
the exact
really
same
cool.
way for sale.
So on this strategy, basically, you are recommending 50 pips on profit or 20 pips on profit and 40 pips on stop loss.
Yes. 20 pips on the profit, 40 pips on the stop loss. Now, that may seem a little off, and I'll explain why I recommend that. Number one, for those who are new, if they know their stop loss is 40 pips, it will keep them from having to over leverage their account. You don't want people to over leverage their account and put a huge lot size on a smaller account than what it's meant for. Number two, most people that have smaller, they say you should have a 1-to-5 ratio. So if you're going for 20 pips, you should have a 5 pip stop loss, things of that nature. Most people that have stop losses that tight, they typically lose 50. Oh, I'm sorry. They typically only have a 50% to 60% winning ratio. These two strategies have winning ratios of over 80%. Most of the trades, as you can see, don't even go that far in the negative. As you see here on this trade, this one closed above it. So you enter in the next candle right here. Price only went down less than 1 pip and then it shot up. It only had retrace or drawdown of less than 1 pip. So most of the time you won't even see 40 pip drawdown, anything close. But so those are the reasons why we have I have that rule in place to ensure that these pairs are also volatile. They have a high ADR, so you want to give them a little room to breathe. But if you use proper risk management and you utilize the 40 pip stop loss, you will see also the 20 pip take profit. You will see that you win more than you lose.
Wow. So any question regarding strategy 3 or any question you guys have regarding AIRO? That's awesome, Mr. Nathan. You explained very well in very simple way. Every single person, I hope everyone understood. Here is a recommendation as well. So after this call, what I will do that, I'll send all the leaders, especially this document. So you guys will go through and become master about that. But again, don't forget to use AIRO at least for maybe 4 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3. When you feel that you are confident, and when you feel that you are expert about all the rules to go through, and then I think because then after that you should go to the real trade. But right now, because become a master of the tool, that's what I'm going to do that from Monday. So I was ignoring AIRO for a long time, but now I realize that AIRO is because because I'll send you some one FX book link where somebody who was having not even experience, who was having 6 figures in less than 8 weeks by using AIRO. So imagine now, because every single person can have that. Because imagine for a second that even though if anyone of us is just spending maybe 6 hours or 5 hours or 8 hours a day, which job can give us this kind of leverage? No way. So we have possibilities again, because if you guys have any questions, so you guys can write down in the chat box, or you guys can send an WhatsApp to me or Shafiq Bhai. So again, because we do have 25K icon, Mr. Donta also on the call. Mr. Donta, if you could just unmute yourself and say something about, because you are you are much expert about AIRO, and of course, very experienced trader as well. So over to you, sir.
Perfect. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Well, pleasure to have me on Dr. R5. What's going on, Mr. Shafiq? And very grateful for Mr. Director of Education, Mr. Nathan Williams, who really is responsible for just so much that's going on in Auvoria Prime on the back end. And I'm grateful that we're able to share this knowledge. And I think that what you just said is very important, that learning how to trade, although it takes time to be able to pick up new skill, it takes time to learn any new skill. The same way you get a new job, you have to go to training for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then you go and are able to go in the workforce. But with this, there's unlimited earning potential on the back end. So guys, is just what Dr. Arfat and Nathan said. Go demo for 2 to 3 weeks. Try to take 100 trades on demo. Hop on the live calls with Nathan. If you don't get on any other live calls, make sure that you get on one with Nathan, because it's at a much better time for you guys than it is for me. For me, it's at 3 a.m. So I'm asleep. I have baby. I can't stay up anymore. But for much best 3 a.m. Eastern. So it's like for in the UK, you're talking about 8, 9 in the morning. And then in Australia, it's at a much better time as well. So I think that it'll be very reasonable to just learn directly from Nathan while we're doing this. I do have a call in 1 minute. I have to get on for the company for anybody who's any other leader. You want to hop on affiliate call and learn from a VP of Global Sales. But as far as AIRO, I use AIRO at least 3 days a week. I've had it's made my trading. I was already a professional trader before Auvoria Prime. So when I started using AIRO started to save me a lot of time in my analysis. I don't have to think so hard about some of the decisions that I wanted to make in the market. So it made it very easy. And then now it's so much easier to teach new people because it's just red and green. It's so simple. It's like, baby, you know what I mean? It's like the coloring book of trading. That's what I say. So it's like, it makes it so easy and simple to understand. So I'm just grateful that Nathan was able to bless us, and anybody who has questions or help when it comes to AIRO, you can reach out to me as well.
Thank you, Dante. Thank you. Wow, awesome call. Because that's what was the promise. Within 1 hour, we will share a maximum knowledge, and that's what Mr. Nathan did. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Nathan. I know we have a lot of other call in schedule. Again, I know some of you are having so many questions, maybe, but again, we do have AIRO chat group where you can express your feedback, comments, or any questions. So every single person, we are under one umbrella, so you guys can ask again and again. Even I'm a student of Forex. Everyone is learning every single day from these legends. So again, thank you very much once again. We are so blessed to having you on this call, and please allow us to have this kind of session again and again to become a master of the tool. So every single person share this tool to all over the world. Why? Because tool is blessing. That's what is you created. That's what is basically my belief is. Again, Mr. Dante, Mr. Shafiq, and all the leaders on this call. We do have people from East London, West London, from Europe, from Australia, from UAE, from Pakistan, from India. So we have people, so many people are on this call, so just attending this session to learn about the tool called AIRO. That's what is great. Because can you elaborate a little bit about AIRO dashboard? Because that's what is the next version. So everyone wants to know that what is AIRO dashboard.
Sure. Let's pull the chart back up here. So the AIRO dashboard, you don't have to use it if you don't want to. It is a tool that allows you to monitor multiple pairs on one chart. The way AIRO works, you will only receive notifications if you have, let's say if I have all 10 pairs open and I have AIRO on all 10 pairs, I will receive notifications. So in the beginning, it's easier to do this because you can flip back and forth between all the pairs, right? However, as you become more experienced and you want to start looking at different time frames or pairs outside of these 10, then you want to do what's add the AIRO dashboard. So I'll show you what that looks like. So you pick any random pair. I'll open up a new pair here. All right. Next, you want to open up the templates folder here, and you want to add the blackout screen. So under templates, you have AIRO, you have blackout. So you want to select the blackout screen. That blacks everything out. Next, you want to select underneath charts, you have the navigator folder again, gold folder with the gold star. And this time, do not worry about AIRO. You want to come all the way down here to close the indicators, come down here to expert advisors. So the dashboard is an expert advisor. It monitors the charts. It doesn't take trades for you. It just monitors what you tell it to monitor. So you double click AIRO dashboard, looks just like this here. Next, you go to common. You want to make sure you have enable alerts selected, allow live trading selected, allow DLL imports checked, and allow import of external experts checked. Make sure all 4 of these are checked. Next, inputs. Now under inputs, the dashboard allows you to do a few things. All right, so here you can pairs trading. You can monitor all 28 pairs. If you double click on this and hit the drop down menu, you can monitor the 7 major Forex pairs, the top 14, all 28, or just specific AUD, CAD, EUR, so forth and so on. I like to do my own pair list because I use the Great Britain pound pairs and the euros. So I select own pair list. Time frames to use, you can see you can monitor all time frames. I only look at 4 time frames when I trade. So I can change this here. Delete the ones I don't look at. You want to make sure you have the commas and no space. So you see here, M5 comma, M15 comma, H1 comma, H4 comma, or no comma at the end. And make sure that they're capital. They need to look exactly like they do here on the chart to ensure that it works properly. Because it looks at exactly what you type in there. So it matches it up with whatever's on the actual software itself. Same thing with the pairs. So under own pairs, I double click in here, delete everything. You have to type it in exactly the way your broker has it. If you don't know how your broker has it, I'll show you where to find it at. You see I'm typing it in all capital letters, no space, comma. So there is no spaces. Oops. So I've got all 10 there. Now the alert settings. Allow Telegram, you don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna put out an updated version next weekend that will take a lot of these out to make it easier for you not to worry about it. What you want to do is allow alerts, make sure that one's selected, and then alerts messages, make sure that one is selected to true. So if you want to change it, just double click it, hit the drop down, and change it to true. All right. Alert sound, I like to have it on so that if my computer is open, I can get the sound as well. After that, don't worry about the rest. You come down here to chart settings. This is important. Template for new chart. You want to type in AIRO, AIRO, all capital, version, so V 4.1. I'm sorry, just AIRO. I apologize for it. Template. Remember the template up here is just AIRO. So you type in AIRO, all capital, because, and I'll show you why, it's real cool. And then you want to change the ADR to 10. ADR, number of days, 10. If you want, you can make your font and everything bigger, and I'll show you what that looks like. But once you put all those inputs in, you simply select OK. And here's your dashboard. Now, to ensure it works, just like the expert advisors, you see here, AIRO dashboard, sad face, got to turn on the auto trading and get the smiley face for it to function. All right. the markets are closed. So right now, there are no signals being sent out, so it won't light up. There is a picture that will show you what it looks like, but simply put, you see you have all the 10 pairs here on the side, the symbols. It will have the spread here. SPR stands for spread. So the spread will tell you the difference between the bid and ask. So as you can see here, here's price right here. It was a crazy day on Friday because of the bank holiday, but you see red line here, white line here. That is the spread. The red line is your ask. The white line is your bid. You always buy at the ask. So when you select buy, it'll always buy wherever this red line is at. If you select sell, it'll always sell where this white line is at. All right. Next, so that's the spread. I recommend that if your spread is higher than 3, and I've got it set to where if it's 3 or higher, your spread will be red. If it's less than 3, it'll be white, and I recommend taking trades under 3 spread. Daily open, so DLY open, that just tells you that from the start of the day, so from the start of this day right here, start of the day, remember these white dotted lines here, tells you your new day. That just tells you from the start of the new day, has price gone up or gone down? If it's green and it says 35, that means price has gone up above where it opened at for 35 pips. If it's red and it says 35, that means price has gone down from where it opened at for the new day, 35 pips. All right. WLY open is weekly open. Same thing, but it's going to track it from the beginning of the week, which is Sunday, 4 p.m. Central. So if it says weekly open 195 and it's green, that means price is 195 pips higher than where it opened at for Sunday. And if it's just 195 red, that means price is down from where it opened at on Sunday. ADR is the ADR, as you guys know, the average daily range. It'll show you what your average daily range is. It'll say 21 and then a /100. 100, the last number, is your daily average. It changes every day because it's based off of the 10 rolling days, 10 days to 10 average. So that day will change. But it gives you an idea of how far price has moved for the day. If it says 21/100, that means the average number of pips that this pair moves on a given day is 100 pips, and current date at the current time, it's only moved 21 pips. Then you have your time frames that you just selected to monitor. And these will be what? These will be blank. When you get an arrow, it's either going to turn red or green. If you get a red, if the square lights up red, that means you received a down arrow on that chart. If not only on this pair, but also on this time frame. So if this one right here lights up red, that means the Great Britain pound, Japanese yen, has got a down arrow on the minute 5 chart. All right. If it's green on this one right here, that means that the Great Britain pound US dollar has an up arrow on the H1, the hour chart. When you get that, you simply select it. It will pull up the chart, GBP USD H1. It pulls up the chart for you with the template already applied. That's why we selected template as arrow, and it's the 1 minute, the 1 hour time frame. You see your arrow, you see the trade is it valid? If so, take the trade. If not, you simply close the chart and you wait for the dashboard to give you another opportunity. Again,
Wow.
if you have the notifications set up, the dashboard sends out notifications to your phone as well. That way, it'll send you notifications for all time frames for you to be able to monitor.
Yeah, that's really cool. So can we add only currencies on dashboard, or we can add crypto and metal as well?
You can add whatever you want to add. So
Yeah,
if you want to add something else, come up here to the dashboard in the right-hand corner, click on the smiley face.
Yeah. Can you add BTC so we can see that how it works? Because the market only open on BTC yet.
Let's see if it will give us. So what you do is come in here, I put the comma, no space.
Yeah.
CUSD. And select OK. It may not give it to us because it's not sending a signal. My broker doesn't allow, some brokers do. My broker doesn't send signal for it. Not even if the market is open for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So the signal at all.
Yeah, that's really cool. No problem.
If you want to know exactly how, and I'll try a different broker here to see if it helps. But if you want to see exactly how to input your symbols, depending on what symbol you want to put in, you want to come up here to View, Symbols, and then here you can open up all your symbols. So your Forex majors, Forex crosses, cryptos, your broker you utilize may have different categories, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So let's say we go to cryptocurrencies, you hit the plus sign, and this tells you how to add all your symbols.
Yes.
So you pair it. You just double click on the one you want to add it. So I have Bitcoin there. I double click on this here. That turns it off. If it's gray, double click it, turn that gold. That means I can now add it to my chart. Once you've done that, you close it, and then you can add it to the dashboard. But that also tells you exactly how you need to put it on. Let me check another chart here to see if, there we go. This one has everything all up for you. So you guys can see what it looks like in color. So here's what the dashboard looks like in color, as you can see here. So for me, these are the 10 pairs that I look at. I don't trade this last one, it's there for Confluence, but I trade these 9 here. These are just what I personally trade, is what I like to trade. And you can see here, the spread here is all red. Now, for the currency pairs, I want the spread to be under 3. For gold and this SPX 500, which is an index, the GER 30, which is an index, I don't really mind them being higher because they're indexes. But for the currency pairs, I want them to be under 3, all right, under 3. So you can see, because they're all over 3, they're red. The daily open, you can see that price is orange. So guess what? For Great Britain pound, New Zealand dollar, since the day opened, it is 50 pips lower than where it opened at for the day. All right. Weekly open, it's 54 pips lower than where it opened for the week. And you can see the same for others. And then, of course, like we talked about with the ADR, Great Britain pound, Japanese yen, 50 out of 120, which means that the average daily range is 120 pips. But prices only move 50 of those 120 for the day, letting you know that you have a higher probability chance of catching your 20 pips. The way I like to use this is with strategy number 3, the one I showed you with the Asian breakout. If we get the candle to close above or below the Asia channel, depending on if we're in a buy or sell trend, if this is your ADR is less than 75%. So let's say my ADR is 100 pips. So if price has not moved 75 or more pips out of the 100, then I feel comfortable taking my trade. The closer it gets to your ADR number, the less probability you have of collecting your 20 pips. So that's kind of how I use this tool right here, the information on this tool to know if I should take the trade or not. And you see this one's red here. So Great Britain pound, Australian dollar received a down arrow on the minute 5. So if I select that, there it is. There's the arrow. You see Great Britain pound, Australian dollar, minute 5, and there is the down arrow. That's how the dashboard works. Again, it's there for you. As you want to use it, it looks pretty cool. Allows you to have less charts open. In the beginning, I recommend having all the charts open. I keep all mine open because I'm constantly teaching. It's easy to move back and forth. But then as you get more experienced with it, you can just close all the charts and just have the dashboard open and wait for your notifications. If you only like to trade strategy number 1, if you would like to trade some of the other strategies that don't use arrows, then you can have the charts all open.
Wow, awesome. So dashboard is gonna be available from next week, or?
Dashboard is available now. I have an update that's coming out next weekend that will hide a lot of the settings to make it just easier to use. That's pretty good. It's the updated version. but the dashboard is already out, so you can use this now. It's already preloaded, so you will see. And again, if you don't have these, I'll send you the directions. With AIRO, you will have to. If you don't have AIRO, that's great because it's easy for you. You request AIRO in your back office as a secondary software, third software, however many softwares you have. So that means you can either upgrade and add it, or you can swap out one of your softwares. That's the great thing that Auvoria Prime allows us to do, is to switch between all softwares. And so once you do that, you already have everything. They'll upload you the AIRO software. You'll have the AIRO template and the default template. And you'll also have, under Expert Advisors, you'll have the dashboard. All right. If you already have AIRO and you need to upgrade, because you have to upgrade to get the dashboard, Dr. Arfat, I'll send you the link that gives you all the directions on how to submit a ticket so that customer service IT department can reinstall your VPS that will have the new Expert Advisor for the dashboard. It'll also have the indicator version 4.1 and all the templates that you need as well. So I'll send that to you. That way you can share that with everyone.
That's really awesome. So we got somebody on the call who has just raised their hand, Uzar Han. Uzar Han Saab, if you have any questions, so maybe you will be able to just write in the chat box, or if not, so you can ask by WhatsApp. So we'll ask this question. So otherwise, I think we have enough knowledge for this call today. And again, thank you very much, Mr. William. What a great call, because allow us to have this call, this kind of call again and again. Why? Because learning is a key. And next call again, we're gonna have different leaders, again, different affiliates, different customers. Why? Because they wanna learn about AIRO. And I believe if anyone is going to be master on that, so they will be able to teach to other people as well without us. That's the way it is. That's the way basically we need to have more and more customers to having a great opportunity to make money by this tool. So again, thank you very much once again for all the participants, all the attendees, all the leaders, affiliates. So thank you very much being on this call. And we have another call as well, official call, Auvoria Prime is going on, which is updating call and again, recognition call as well. So again, if anyone have chance to just, register yourself for that call, so you will get again more information about in and out about the company. So again, thank you very much once again for all the people, especially Mr. William. Thank you very much, and see you every single person by the next call. Take care. Bye bye.